feel like Tony is being, anything like don't say Preston. Don't say, again, not that drunk. I know Tony's not that hillbilly, that married ass hillbilly. Forget that hillbilly Preston. Yeah, forget that hillbilly and forget Tony. Forget him.
Hello, ladies.
Hi, guys.
Man, remember a couple weeks ago when I did a video about how filler episodes of any series can be dangerous due to the fact that in order to fill up a runtime, writers will sometimes take a character and have them regress or regurgitate the same points that have already been made over and over again. And in my episode review for episode 5, last night's show, I talked about how the episode was just dry and boring because we kept going back to the same scenes, making the same points over and over, whether it be Hayden being an a-hole or the people at the salon chanting over and over again, which they hilariously would just randomly stop whenever Karen and Pam were talking and then go right back into the chanting. I don't know what was going on with that. But I wanted to focus on Danny, and it's not looking good. I was singing her praises in season 7 because they truly did something with this character. Now, season 7, despite being riddled with problems and seemingly illustrating that these new writers didn't seem to know what they were doing with the characters, Danny was a shining light through all of the BS. She was one of the main reasons I feel like season 7 was worth the price of admission, because we saw her growth in therapy, healing after dealing with the whole Preston debacle, and it was just something to see. Even her and Karen coming to an understanding about their differences. But for whatever reason, season 8 seems to be ruining all of that. It all started in episode 2 when she basically decides to keep Tony out of her therapeutic journey. And then it's evolved to the point of the public argument. Well, the second time they're going to debate in public. The first was, I think, last week at the airport, and now next week is going to be at this restaurant. And you could just tell they really are regressing Danny to how she was basically from, earlier than basically like season 3 or season 2 to season 6. Like, all the therapy she's been doing is just going down the drain. It's how people felt about Zach and how he was behaving in season 7, where it's like, man, didn't Zach go through like therapy and wasn't he developing, and now he's just acting like he was in season 1? That's what they're doing with Danny. And despite how you feel about her relationship with Tony, it was somewhat of a good thing. I mean, yeah, it had a lot of issues, but now it just seems like she's doing to Tony what she did with Preston. Throwing away a man who cares about her because she doesn't want to change. Or she believes that when a man is trying to help her, it's because they don't like how she is currently and they want her to be something else, be something that she's not. And it's just ridiculous to me because, similar to how she told Sabrina when Preston told her off and then left in season 6, yeah, he called me a bee or a gardening tool or something. I forgot exactly how she worded it, but she put words in Preston's mouth when relaying this to Sabrina. And she basically did the same thing at the restaurant, saying that Tony says I have to go to therapy if I want to have sex. And that's not at all what he said. He said in episode 2, look, you just got interrogated because look at everything that's happened in the past like 36 hours. Everything that's gone on with Gary, your friend Andy's dealing with this as well, so I know it's impacting you. So instead of you just jumping on me and taking off my pants the moment I walk through the door, I want to check on my woman to make sure she's okay. But because he isn't doing what she wants to do, all of a sudden he's the enemy. and she's shutting him out of her life. First it was the therapy, then it was her career, and now it's like Danny is just being ripped apart. And it seems like the writers, as opposed to exploring her therapy journey further, they're just going to act like, yep, therapy thing's not working out, so the only other thing we know to do with Danny is to have her crash out. And I think the saddest part, though, was in episode 5 when she's talking to Sabrina about the situation. Honestly, I don't think Sabrina was dismissing what Danny was saying. It's just that because Sabrina wasn't being her usual agreeable self, basically, validating everything Danny's saying, all of a sudden, oh, see, you're not listening. You don't hear me. It's like, ugh. But I think it was sad how she mentioned that Kresha is like, she told me to like stop texting her and whatnot, because I think Danny has kind of twisted that Kresha isn't a 24/7 therapist. You have appointments. So when you go to the appointments, you address certain things, and then things that develop over the course of the time between appointments, you bring it to the next one. So she isn't your on-call, therapist. And to me, it's kind of sad that she resorts to drinking due to the fact that she can't contact her therapist as much as she wants, because it just shows you how lonely she is. Because of the fact that A, you shut out Tony, and B, it just shows you that the sister circle really isn't doing anything for Danny whatsoever, because she can't really call anybody to talk about what she's going through because she doesn't feel like she can open up to them. And that's really sad. So on the one hand, I don't like what the writers are doing by seemingly undoing the therapy work Danny went through last season. But the one thing I will say is that even though we've always questioned the sister circle's treatment of Danny, this episode all but solidified that this woman's really alone. But at the same time, to some extent, you can tell she's kind of doing it to herself. She's shutting people out. She's lashing out at them. And all of a sudden, men are the enemy. When it's like, no, you are your own worst enemy. So I feel like Danny and Tony, somebody said in the comments a couple days ago on one of my videos, I think the only reason Danny is still with Tony is because she can't admit to herself that she fumbled with Preston, so now she's settling. That's a possibility. And for all the people saying, yo, Trinity needs to come, no, Preston doesn't have to deal with his BS. No, he's doing fine on Zatima. I like how they're using him on that particular series now. And Danny, she messed up. She had her chance, but she messed up. And now she's going to have to deal with it. But I just really hate that she's acting like she used to, because now it's like season 7 was a complete waste of time if they're going to just flat out undo everything that they did with her character in those 22 episodes. So with that being said, how do you feel about the way Danny's acting? Do you think she has a legitimate gripe? Or do you feel like she's just resorting back to her old habits, and as a result, she's going to end up, isolating herself because she's preventing anyone from, doing anything? I mean, if nothing else, and I've made this comparison for years, her and Karen are kind of alike, where people, if they don't instantly agree with her, they're seen as the enemy, or they try to make her change for the better. Oh, then you must not like me for who I am, so I'm done with you. So I don't know. But let's talk about it in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.